hike begins at the Berries Mountain Road Gate. Access begins in Millersburg. Head south on South Market Street past the Lankerville Elementary School. After a sharp left turn, make a right onto the first road, which is called Berries Mountain Road, also Middle Road. This road makes a sharp left and runs somewhat parallel to the ridge top. After the last few houses, it turns to stone as you near the summit. At the top, you'll see a gate on the left. Park anywhere here, just don't block the gate. If you start descending the other side, you've missed the parking area. Berries Mountain Trail, not the road, runs west to east directly on top of the ridge line. On the other side of the road, the trail runs west to a beautiful overlook above the river. Once your hike begins, you mildly climb a wide, cobbly trail with studded views of the valley below. This trail, heading due east through a nice mixed hardwood forest, is very obvious and marked with blue blazes. It is wide enough for ATVs and even trucks, but I believe they are forbidden even on this trail. After not even a quarter mile, you will pass a small power line where you can see the Susquehanna River on both sides. There is a tin-sided box with a small tower and antenna here. The ridge becomes very rocky on the left, and there are some interesting formations. The one large rock would make a great viewing platform and lunch stop if the trees weren't so tall. A large dome rises out of Berries Mountain in the distance. Another large rock formation appears on the left, this one with vertical rock veins that some kids made into a fort or shelter with some small logs. Soon after, you'll arrive at the large power line, which offers amazing views of the town of Millersburg. You can see just about every house, even out Route 25 in the town of Liverpool across the river. The Wickinisco Creek Gorge can be heard with its gentle roar nearly 800 feet in elevation below. You can see a small set of rapids with binoculars. You'll likely see some hawks and vultures here, and it's often quite windy. The views of the river are broken by trees. On the other side, you can see great bends and islands on the river near Halifax. This wide open area is the junction with the Powerline Trail, which steeply climbs up Berries Mountain. The trail actually descends the other side and can take you to Middle Road. Continue east on the now slightly smaller Berries Mountain Trail. Near the 3/4 mile point, double blue blaze signifies the junction with Lanker Trail, which descends to the left. The forest gets very nice after this point, but there are posted signs on the right as well as pink property line ribbons. This is for the area above the trail on the other side of the mountain, so rest assured you're not trespassing by walking on the trail. At about the 1 mile point, Deer Run Trail climbs up the hill. This area has some very nice hemlock and white pine groves. I also found one of the largest chestnut oaks I've ever seen. Another dome rises as the trail begins to descend. This is the gap at Woodside Station Road. The trail splits. Make sure to stay left. You'll see a couple more property line ribbons, and the trail starts to become soggy from a few springs and seeps. Right before the trail connects to Woodside Station Road, there's a series of mud holes for four-wheelers. Just walk toward the road and begin descending to the left, which is north. After only about 200 feet, the road bends left and you'll see Mountain Laurel Trail with yellow blazes on the left. This trail descends a gully into a stand of trees marked with blue and orange marks. Don't confuse these for blazes, they're timbering markings. This trail is fairly wide, never hard to follow. Near the halfway point of Mountain Laurel Trail, a timbered and marked area is very ugly, looking devastated. Below, though, there are some beautiful groves of hemlocks, and the trail sides are often thick with mountain laurel, as the trail name should suggest. A small gorge on the right forms a small stream that tumbles down the mountainside below the ridge. At a very large grove of Virginia pines, which are also called jack pines, they're used to make telephone poles. The lower end of Deer Run Trail connects to Mountain Laurel Trail. The forest heals as the trail begins to head slightly west, shortly before connecting to the rail trail. This large coal dirt path was actually once the Lincoln Valley Railroad, the fourth railroad in the U.S. Abandoned in the 1980s, this trail was mostly private and grown over from its beginning at Bear Gap in Wickinisco to its end at Mile Park in Millersburg. This stretch has been converted to a public path, a wise decision for this area. The rail trail passes Drumming Log Trail, which ascends steeply up the hillside to the left. This trail actually used to be called Grouse Run Trail, and the sign at its meeting point with Deer Run Trail still indicates this. From here, the rail trail is very straight. You'll pass Hemlock Trail and the bridge and the Ned Smith Center after about a quarter mile on the trail. The gorge of the Wickanisco Creek steepens and the pine trees thicken. An interesting spring emerges from the mountainside on the left. You can hear the rapids, although nothing major, tumble over cobble and small shale ledges. After a short walk, you'll arrive at the power line crossing, where you can see a development across the creek to the right, an incredibly steep, muddy trail climbing nearly straight up Berries Mountain to the left. Although only 4/10 of a mile long, this trail climbs nearly 800 vertical feet. The hike is strenuous, and I'd recommend an alternate route if you're not in decent physical condition. The trail is often very muddy and slippery after rain. The whole way up, though, you'll be astounded with the views and fast elevation gain. Once on top, catch your breath and take another good look around before heading right on Berries Mountain Trail back to your car.